everyone, I want to welcome y'all back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a bit different. So this marks my 100th recipe video, and we're going to be doing a little different today. I've got a couple of friends that are going to be coming over later and help me with the dish. So today we are making authentic beef tamales. So let's get our ingredients together so we can start cooking. For our red chili sauce, we are going to need the following: some Guajillo chilies dried, some Arbolo chilies dried, some kosher salt, some garlic, onion, ground cumin, Mexican oregano, pepper. So now let's get to making our sauce. Alright, for our red chili sauce, we've got a large pot filled with water, and to that we're going to add our onions and garlic. Our black pepper, our salt, our Mexican oregano, and our dried cumin. And we're going to give this a good mix. And to that we are going to add in our red chiles. I'm going to push them in there. So now we are going to get this over to the stove, and we're going to bring this up to a boil. So while we're waiting for our chiles to come up to a boil, we're going to take our corn husks and we are going to put them in a pot of water so they can start getting soft. And we want to make sure they are submerged. And we are going to let these go and soften and soak up water till they're needed. These have come up to a boil. So we're going to turn these down to a simmer, and we're going to let these go for 10 minutes. So our chiles were simmering for 10 minutes, so now we need to remove them from the pot. And we're going to try and not make too big of a mess. Ouch. All right. So we've got that all removed. So now what we want to do is we want to reserve some of this broth. And then we're going to put our chilies back in and then puree this up till it's smooth. So let me remove some of the broth and we'll be right back. Alright, so I've removed most of the broth and I'm kept a bit because we're going to need something for blending this up. So we're going to put our vegetables back in. We're going to add a bit of salt. And then I'm going to be using my immersion blender to puree this up nice and smooth. So once I get this all pureed up, I'll be right back. All right, as you can see, we've got our sauce, our chiles all pureed. So now we are going to set this to the side and we're going to start getting our filling ready. For our tamale filling, we are going to need some of our homemade red chili sauce, celery, onion, garlic, oregano, masa, and I'm using the instant masa, and a beef roast. So let's get these ingredients prepared. All right, so we've got our beef roast in a nice heavy pot. To this, we are going to add in our celery and garlic, our onions, and oregano. Then we are going to cover this, add enough water to cover everything. And then we are going to cook this until the beef is tender, which should be a couple, 2 to 3 hours. So I'm going to get this over the stove and let's get this cooking. All right, so this has been going about 2.5 hours. And we're going to check this. Perfect, it is fork tender. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move this to a plate so it can cool down and then we can shred it up. So our roast has cooled down completely now, and so what we want to do is we want to shred this to pieces. And any fat, big pieces of fat, we do not want to include that in our tamales. So we're going to take that off. And you also may run into a few little pieces of gristle, so you want to remove that also. All right, so we have our last chunk of beef that we need to shred up. Go ahead and get this done. Piece of gristle right there. All right, now we're just gonna flip this up and look through, make sure we don't have any chunks that are super big. And if we do, we're just gonna shred them up a little bit. All right, that looks good. So now what we need to do is add some of our red chili sauce to this. And then we're gonna get that all mixed in there. Make sure every piece gets coated. And it also lets us shred it up a little more as well. Alright, so that looks good. So now we're going to set this to the side and move on to getting our masa ready. So I've got 4 cups of masa in my blender, and to that we are going to add a 1.5 cups of beef broth. And we're making the masa based on the instructions from the package, which calls for 2 cups to 1.5 cups of liquid. And I'm going to add some of my chili sauce. And so I'm also waiting for some friends to come over who are going to be helping me assemble all these. So once they get here, then we'll start putting some tamales together. I may have to add a little bit more beef broth. All right, so that is perfect. So what I'm going to do is I am going to continue making up another batch, and then once that's done, we're going to slowly get everything set up and prepped for when everybody shows up to assemble our tamales. Alright, so I've got all my masa set up in some separate bowls for everybody. Ended up having to do an extra cup of liquid because it was a little too thick. So now I am going to be setting up the meat filling for when everybody gets here. So yeah, I received the text while setting up the masa that they should be here just within a few minutes. So for me, this out of the way. There we go. I'm going to move this out of the way over here. So now I am going to pull the husks out of the water, so that way we can be ready to plate up and start assembling our tamales. So we're just going to let these drain a little bit and spread them out on the plate.
Hi, we're here! Tamale time!
Hey.
Tamale time!
Hey, how are y'all?
Fine, how you doing?
Doing good. So I've got the meat in the bowls, the masa in the bowls. I'm just draining out the husk right now.
Okay.
So there's some aprons over there on the table.
Alrighty.
There's stuff to make y'all drink on the bar.
Okay.
So you find me a towel. My hands are still wet. So y'all have a good drive in?
Yes. We had a good drive. Not too much traffic.
That's good. That's good. Need some help tying that rope?
I got it.
So these are some friends of mine that I've known for way too many years. So this is Roland.
Hi.
And this is my friend Angel, who apparently needs help tying the apron.
Hello.
You need some
I got
help?
it. No, I got
Are you
it.
sure? Okay. So I've got everything set up. So we're going to take a quick little break here for just a few minutes and get everything sorted out and straightened out. And then when we get back, we'll start assembling us some tamales. All right, so we're back. And Roland, what were you doing to the husks?
Okay, what we did with the husk is some of them are going to be a little bit wider. So you want them a little, like Angel stated, like an A-line skirt. You want to trim some off, which I did. I trimmed all of these. So you have enough so you can spread them and you can roll them and it's not too thick.
Okay. So we're going to grab us a husk, right?
Right.
And you're going to spray it on the smooth side.
Smooth side?
Yeah, there's a smoother side.
this side.
The waxy side.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about a big tablespoon? Roughly
Yeah,
about
put it in
this
the
much?
middle,
About
and
this
then you're
much?
gonna spread out. Yeah. And then you're just gonna spread out.
Just right down the middle?
Yeah.
All the way to the end,
All the
or?
way to the bottom. Yeah.
All the way.
Oh, okay.
Covered, full coverage.
So how's this?
That's good.
And then what about the same amount of meat, or?
Then you're gonna do the meat down the middle.
About like so?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I'll let everybody catch up.
Yeah, I know. We're just making sure it's nice and smooth.
Oh, so do we need to go all the way to the end?
You can if
The
you want.
outsides?
I did.
Oh, okay.
That's how my family used to do it, all of it. They like the masa a lot.
Well, I'll just make a little more.
You can do it on the next one. Add your meat, Angel. You should just do it here,
My hands clean, we washed our hands.
We're
before we started.
sanitized. Okay, and then we're just gonna
And
roll.
then just, let me see,
You're gonna be in the middle, then you're just gonna
kind of,
roll in.
And flock, fold it over. The
so,
opposite.
like
Roll.
this?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll bet you more can.
I think
We
we
don't
did
go
that
the end,
too
just
much.
the pointy side. Like
Oh,
this.
okay.
Look, then you fold it opposite.
Oh, so you only fold one end?
Yeah, the long end.
You have to push some, I don't know too far.
Right.
Come on. So kind of like this?
Yeah. You just want it a little tighter.
So for the wide end, we go all the way to the top of the masa.
Right, and on the short end, you're not gonna go as much because you don't want it to pop out. Correct.
Okay. So how often would y'all do this?
This was
Yearly during the winter.
during the
usually
winter,
Christmas,
during Christmas,
Thanksgiving time.
Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, you knew it was gonna be tamale time. Of course, now people make them all the time, but our traditions were to do them right after
They
Thanksgiving.
did about
for
120
Christmas.
dozens in about 5 dias. They took all afternoon.
So like this one?
Exactly. A little bit tighter.
Somebody's rolled open. Guess that's Angel's.
That's mine.
Tomatoes got tight.
Yeah, I tore this one up. I'm just tearing it off.
It's opposite. It's opposite. That's what it's supposed to
Do what?
You do it opposite.
There you go.
Keeps it.
You mean like this? Something like that?
Yes.
There you go. Very good.
Yeah. Let's see. Opposite line. So it forms a, you know what, it makes it stay.
Oh, okay.
Not the same. Where the fold is, you do it opposite.
Right. And then like that.
There you go.
All right, so we're going to continue making tamales, and once we get everything done, we're going to put them in the steamer and let's get them, and so we can get them cooking. So we'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, so we've got all our tamales done, and we've got a pretty good batch here. So what, we just set them in the steamer which way, Ro? Fold side down, or how do we do that?
Fold side down because they're going to lay on each other like this.
Oh, okay.
But if you can lay them on, do you have a bowl that can be in the steamer upside down so we can lay them across like this?
You're putting the meat side.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It doesn't go this way. Oh yeah, it goes this way.
Yeah. Look,
A little white bowl like that one in there, or something that can be steamed.
Like
That's
this
a
way?
little white one.
You're gonna make a mount.
Oh, okay.
And you stand and feed them again, so you have to
oh, okay.
you start popping them. No, but face them with this against each other. That's the whole purpose of having them like that. That keeps them closed. Because they're going to open on you when they start cooking.
All right, so we're going to continue loading these things up, and then they are going to steam for about an hour or so. And then once they're done, we'll come back and we'll eat us some tamales. Right, so these have been going for 2.5 to 3 hours on high and steaming. So what we're going to do is we are going to pull them off, and we're going to remove our lid, and we're going to let these sit for 15 to 20 minutes before we serve them. What this will do is this will give the masa time to set up. Otherwise you end up with a paste. So we'll be back in about 15 minutes and we'll have some tamales. All right, so we've let them sit for 15 minutes. So Angel and Roland are gonna test and see how we did. So
Here we go.
Roland taking his time.
Right. Okay, yeah. Good. Okay, let's taste. It's good.
So normally, what would y'all serve with tamales other than tamales?
Ketchup.
No. Well, some people like to put ketchup, or you'd make a homemade chili, and you could put homemade chili
Mm-hmm.
on top of it. And then you'd have a side. Sometimes you'd have maybe rice or beans.
Nice.
Good. Very good.
Guess considering this is my first go round, I guess I passed, right?
Yes, you did.
We give them an A.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for watching the video. I also want to thank my friends Roland and Angel for helping me through this. Remember, new videos are posted every Tuesday at 4 p.m. And as always, be nice, be kind. It doesn't kill you, but it does make for a better day. So enjoy.